walking gracefully. I'm strong when I am weak. I will be free. Your power at work in me. I'm broken gracefully. I'm strong when I am weak. I will be free. Your power at work in me. I'm broken gracefully. I'm strong when I am weak. I will be free. Your power at work in me. I'm broken gracefully. I'm strong. I will be free. So here I am, God, arms wide open. I'm right here, pouring out my life gracefully. Speak to my heart, Holy Spirit, give me the words that will bring new life. Words on the wings of the morning, the dark night will fade away. If you speak to my heart now, speak to my heart. Holy Spirit, message of love to encourage me, lifting my heart from despair. Love me and care for me. Speak to my heart now. Oh Lord, speak to my heart. Yeah. Holy Spirit, give me the words now. The words that will bring life. Oh my words on the wings of the morning, my love that will speak to my heart. Speak to my heart. Speak to me, Holy Spirit. Message of love. Message of love to encourage me. Oh, my heart from despair. How you love me, care for me. Speak to my heart. Oh my. To my heart. That's what I want you to do. Speak to my heart. 'Cause I'm waiting to hear from you. Speak to my heart. Hey, that's what I want you to do. Speak to my heart. Speak to my heart, Lord. Oh, give me your holy word. If I can hear from you, then I'll know what to do. I won't go on, never go on my own. Just let your spirit guide and let your word abide. Speak to my heart, Lord. Oh my, give me your holy word. If I can hear from you, then I'll know what to do. I won't go on. I'll never go on my own. No, let your spirit guide me, let your word abide. Speak to my heart, Lord. Speak to me. know what to do. Said I'll never go alone, Jesus. Never go on my own. I need Lord. Oh, speak to me. Just speak, Jesus. Come on, let me know what to please. God, I gotta hear your voice. I'll be able to make my choice. Said I'll never go by myself, no. God, I really need your help. Got me on through the night. And I know it will be alright. I'm ready, Lord. Said that I'm ready. Said that I'm ready. Ready. Said that I'll never go. Said that I'll never go. No. Not on my own.
I'm not asking for anything. You already supply all my needs. And I just wanted to say thank you for your grace and your patience with me, and loving me in spite of me. Now I see when I call you, you always come through. You do it every time. And when I need a breakthrough, you do it every time. You're always there to break my fall. You do it every time. You show me mercy, I don't deserve it all.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
It is now time for the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwenette Westbrooks and Mr. Dumas.
And good afternoon and welcome to another segment of the NAACP Truth Show. I'm Willie Dumas, your host. We'll be joined later by President Westbrooks. Hope you're having a very happy new year. Hope you brought it in right. Hope you're looking forward to a very prosperous 2025. A lot of things happening, of course. The beginning of the new year. We send our condolences out, of course, to all the families who lost loved ones there in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, with that chaotic scene that happened where over 15 people were killed and over 35 people injured. And also, there's a lot of things happening. You just got to be vigilant these days. A lot of strange things occurring. Also in Las Vegas. If you've been watching the news, you understand that they set a vehicle on fire at the Trump Towers that was filled with explosives. And that also happened coming into the new year. So the new year's really come in with a bang, literally, with all the things that have been transpiring. I also hope that you got an opportunity here in Macon to witness the implosion that happened downtown with the old Ramada Inn. It went off successfully, and I know it was a lot of people attending that just to see something like that occur here in the mid-state. And so that was one of the activities that occurred on New Year's Day as well. And so it's been a very busy start to the new year. And of course, we're looking forward to everything the new year of 2025 has to bring. I see President Westbrooks has joined us.
Good evening,
President
Brenda
Westbrooks. Yes, good evening, Brenda. I see you're saying Happy New Year to us.
Happy New Year to everyone.
I'm trying to adjust these glasses.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely, because there are a lot of people who didn't make it to 2025. And so it's a blessing.
Just want to iterate, President Carter's
passing.
Yes, and want to acknowledge. We talked about it a little bit last week, but our former president, Jimmy Carter, would live to be the oldest former president to, I think it was the age of 100.
100 years old.
Yes, and I think the Habitat for Humane is supposed to be doing something. You can come by and sign. I saw that today on the news. You can come by and sign like a board or a board there, because he was real big and took part in that also. And also, we also want to send our condolences out to the families that were killed in
Absolutely.
the terroristic
attack
there.
Yeah.
And so we just want to give our condolences and prayers to those families also, and keep President Carter's family in prayer.
Absolutely. And today is a key day, January 6th.
Yes.
Where we remember what happened about 4 years ago.
Yes.
In 2020 during January 6th.
The worst. I still can't get over that, Mr. Dumas. I just don't see how
that was able to go forth. And
yes, that I'm saying. How do people invade the Capitol, and I'm just, how did they even get
that close?
Yeah.
And it was over 1,600 people that were been convicted in that particular situation that happened.
I'm just really hoping, it's, the thing about it, what my concern is that that once we have a new administration, whether or not these people will be pardoned or not. And I know people may say, the president, the sitting president now has pardoned people in prison. And so, people be looking at that, but I just don't understand how you invade the Capitol, whether sitting president, vice president. How do people get that close and still living?
Right.
Not saying that I know we wanted someone to die, but I'm just saying, I just know that if it hadn't been, I just feel that if it had been people of color that did that, we wouldn't have gotten that close to what I just think we probably would have been shot on the spot. I just don't understand how it got to that point. How it's not making sense to me. I to this day I don't understand it. I don't understand how somebody could get that close. Somebody actually did die. They were actually inside the Capitol and actually trying to get inside where they were actually locked, where the people were locked down. I'm saying, how do you get inside the Capitol and people are really upset because that person lost their life? But would people have lost their lives if that person hadn't gotten inside where people were? The vice president was, it's I don't know.
It's one of the first.
It's something. It's something that really makes you wonder, and people are, to this day, think that they did nothing wrong.
Right. And it also will send a signal, a bad signal, to have these people pardoned, knowing that officers lost their lives and other people
lost their life and really are going through stuff mentally. I'm
right.
saying it's that kind of stuff sometimes affect people over a lifetime.
Right.
Because people thought they were going to lose their lives that day.
And this is still an ongoing investigation, even to
after,
this day.
Yeah. 4 years later, there's still an investigation.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's crazy. But, effective January 1st, some new laws went into effect here in Georgia. We want to go over some of those, so people will be aware of what's going on. That's the purpose of, our program, to keep
right, to
the community informed. And we want to go over some of those things today. Under the Senate Bill 233, here in Georgia, students who attend the lowest performing 25% of schools under Georgia academic rating system will be eligible to apply for a $6,500 voucher to allow for what lawmakers call educational freedom. This money can be spent on private schools, tuition, textbooks, transportation, homeschooling, supplies, therapy, tutoring, or even early college courses for high school students. The Georgia Education Savings Authority, a body created to run the program, wrote rules that could open the opportunity to more than one in 5 children in the state. By saving that any student in such a school attendance zone is eligible, even if they don't attend that school. For example, if a middle school is on the list, elementary and high school students who live in that zone can also apply. The law capped spending at 1% of the funding formula for public schools, or 144 million, that could provide more than 22,000 vouchers if lawmakers decide to spend that much in 2025. The authority will begin to accept applications early in 2025. So, we have to look at what that means to our public school system. You can use it to be spent in different capacity. We just want to put that information there. It's out there. And so, which that took effect January 25th. Also changes, and this is very important, because it affects the homelessness. Senate Bill 189. It says, while much of Georgia's new election law, Senate Bill 189, has already gone into effect, the section governing where homeless people register begins in January. The section mandates that that means that it's mandated. The section mandates that homeless people use their county's election office to receive election-related mail. That could, in some cases, mean long journeys for people to retrieve mail, including absentee ballots and challenges to their eligibility. The second in the subject of a lawsuit by the Georgia State Conference of the NAACP. I'm going to repeat that. The second is the subject of a lawsuit by the Georgia State Conference of the NAACP and the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda, who argued that the law is unfair because all other Georgia voters can receive mail at their address of choice, even if it's not where they reside. New Georgia County Election Board created, while probate court judges used to. This is another. Let's go back here and talk about this for a few minutes. So, this is what the NAACP is arguing, and the People's Agenda for Coalition. And I don't know if people realize, for example, the Department of Family and Children Services, homeless people. There's kind of a lot of homeless people they get their mail from the Department of Family and Children Services. Their mail, for example, if they get food stamps, they get snaps, they can choose to get their mail at
the facility.
But some people have they use that as their address, but then their mail may go to a relative's house. May go to a relative's house. The mailing, the actually mail. So, and I think some things with like for the instance, Department of Family Truth. So if you have your, it has something to do too with your your benefits of snaps if you use that address for use that address. But in the case of voting, this is not a service that you're receiving. That's a little different with the Department of Family and Children Service, because someone is homeless, your mail may get to my house and I may not notify you that your mail has come. But if it goes to the Department of Family and Children Service, somebody that's homeless can pick that mail up, get that mail from the Department of Family and Children Service anytime that they're open. They can just walk in and check to see if they got any mail, and they'll check it for them. But with voting, it's different.
Right.
You should be able to get your mail where you want to get your mail from.
Right.
I'm saying if I have this is not a service that's being provided. So if I'm homeless and I want to use my sister's address as my address, then I should be able to do that. And I'm pretty sure, they're talking about the NAACP and the Georgia Coalition for the People Agenda is looking at filing a lawsuit. So, which we'll wait and see that happens. I'm on the state, so third vice president for the state. So, I'm sure that we'll be talking about that. But that's one of the laws that went into effect, that is mandated that every person that is homeless, they will have to retrieve their anything dealing with voting, their absentee ballots or anything like that. It will have to go to their board of elections. I'm just trying to figure out how they're gonna handle that, because they can't, for some reason, we had a May and June election was just a mess.
Right.
And right now, today, I received an email that some of the districts are still incorrect. Wow. So if they're incorrect now, they were incorrect in November, even though we weren't voting in districts. But some of the districts are still, and we're gonna talk about that in our. Hopefully, we can talk about that a little bit. Have someone come in and talk about that in our upcoming training in January that we're gonna be having from the state and national. That's still going on here in Macon.
Wow.
Like I said, we've had an election, but
a lot of
this
things
May election, I just think that it's people in office that I don't know if they won or not. It was just so much. The districts were just
disarray.
Yeah, they was just districts that were in the wrong place, and even in the runoff, they were still in the wrong. I'm at the Board of Elections, watching people, grown-ups, in tears because they couldn't vote for who they wanted to vote for. They voted for them in May, but then they telling them, no, you was in the wrong district in May, so we don't put you in the right district. So you admit that you in the wrong district in May, and that's why you were able to vote for that person. But it's in the runoff, we don't put you in your right district, so you shouldn't have voted for them in the first place. So it's crazy. That was a lawsuit, and just in itself, that happened to so many people.
Because how do you correct a wrong like that? After
just
the fact,
telling people that you voted in the wrong place, you shouldn't have voted for them in the first beginning. I'm just saying. So and in the run, the May election, in some cases, in some candidates' races, it was very close. And so even in the runoff, so I'm just saying, I don't know whether I don't know whether it even should have been a runoff in some of these races. Whether it even should have been a runoff.
Right.
Because the people were voting in the wrong place.
And those numbers could have been way off.
And it's just like nobody is talking about it. Like it's
okay.
It's okay, but we're gonna have a meeting about that because we got to figure out something. We got to hold people accountable, and we got to, they need to be made to get it right.
Right.
So,
and then we got midterms coming up. It'll probably still
it's crazy.
be in disarray.
Nobody's been held accountable for any of this stuff that happened, and I'm pretty sure that some of the candidates filed complaints with the Secretary of State, and nothing has been done.
Wow.
So the next thing is, it says, while probate court judges used to serve as election superintendent for Georgia counties that did not have their own board of elections and registration, Senate Bill 212 ends that duty as of January 1st, 2025. Instead, local government will give those duties to a board of elections that should be created by December 15th. The newly created board will act as the county's election superintendent and run primaries and elections starting on January 1st. New boards of elections have been established in counties such as Baldwin and Evans. So, probate judges, and I can remember hearing one of the judges, being interviewed, and they was just saying it was a lot of on the judges to have to do that, to keep up with that.
Right.
And so each those counties would need to be creating a board of elections. So they would have a board of elections to handle all of that. That went into effect January the 1st. So those are some of the laws, the laws that I'm aware of that's went into effect January the 1st. Those three things. I do know that President Biden signed a law that went into effect dealing with the Social Security. We just gotta figure out. I'm gonna check myself to see whether or not I'm affected by it. Where he signed about the Social Security, and it's really for people that are receiving retirement, and their retirement offsets their Social Security. I think that I'm gonna check into it myself because I am retired. I'm a state
right
retiree.
We both are,
and I'm receiving Social Security. So I'm gonna be looking into that because I don't think that it affects everyone. It's just those that are. And to my understanding, I don't want to give out the wrong information. But I just want people to, just need to check into it. If you are a retiree, a service, I think it's, if I'm not in reading it, you have to be a service worker.
Well, there's something Patrick Davis put up. Social Security Fairness
Act brings retirement change for nearly 3 million public pensions. And so, it said President Biden on Sunday signed the legislation expanding Social Security benefits for millions of Americans, including firefighters, police officers, and teachers. Americans who have worked hard all their life to make an honest living. It says here, Patrick Davis here says, President Biden Sunday signed the Social Security Fairness Act into law, clearing the way for nearly 3 million public service, including teachers, firefighters, and police, to see an increase in their Social Security. And so I don't know where it's public service workers, so we don't know who all is included there. I know the work that I did was a public service worker as a social worker, but I'm encouraging anyone that is receiving retirement and Social Security to contact the Social Security office to see whether or not you are affected by that, because it's some kind of way. It says here the Social Security Fairness Act eliminates 2 federal policies that barred employees with a public pension from collecting their full benefits. So that's what I knew that part. Sometimes when you're receiving And if I'm not mistaken, in our with the state, your pension offsetted your Social Security, and so that's what this, you wouldn't get the full amount of your Social Security because of the pension that you were receiving, and I think ours is like that also. So it says the Social Security Fairness Act eliminates two federal policies that bar employees with a public pension from collecting their full benefits under the federal retirement program, and that reduce benefits for those workers' surviving spouse and family members. Biden is the first president in more than 20 years to expand Social Security benefits, a White House spokesman said in a statement. The bill is signed today. This was not today, but I'm reading this article from, it says updated on January the 6th. It says that Biden is, it says here the bill is signed today with expand benefits by hundreds of dollars per month for more than 2.5 million Americans. Social Security Fairness Act could restore benefits for millions, but policy still cause hardship. A new law came in just under the wire with President Biden signing only weeks before the end of his presidency and after the Senate on December 21st voted 76-20 to pass a measure in the warning house of the 118th Congress. House lawmakers approved the bill known as House Rule 82 in November to push to enhance Social Security payments for public pension recipients has been decades in the making, with the Senate holding its first hearing into the policies in 2023. So the Social Security Fairness Act had bipartisan support, yet faced last-minute objections from some Republicans due to its cost. According to Congressional Budget Office, the law would add an estimate of $195 billion to the federal deficit over a decade. So if you are, service worker receiving the retirement, you may want to contact the Social Security office to just check to see whether or not you don't assume that you're not one of those, or assume that you just need to call and check to see whether or not your Social Security or whether or not your retirement pension offsetted your Social Security, because you would be, according to this new law that went into effect, then you would be eligible for that, and it actually would be giving you your full Social Security benefits, because some pensions do offset. And I think in reading my paperwork when I got ready to retire, I think mine did also offset your retirement pension, offsetted your Social Security. So it shouldn't be.
Give us me.
Somebody called me yesterday, and they was like, "Let me call Gwen. I know she probably know." And they was like, "Do your Social Security? Do your Social Security taxable?" So I told her just check with her. Person that does her taxes, but a portion of it is taxable. I don't know why we have to pay taxes on Social Security that we've already paid taxes on.
Right.
Receiving Social Security, and we've already paid taxes on the money, but now a portion of it is taxable. So some people go ahead on and have taxes taken out in advance, and some people just wait till the end of the year and file taxes and pay it then. I've been paying. I used to get Mr. Dumas. I used to receive a refund back from the federal and state, but that stopped after Trump took office. I no longer was eligible. I didn't get a refund, and still we're still paying back every year.
I know I haven't gotten a refund for quite some time.
Yeah. And and I was, we were just talking I was talking to someone on the way here, and we was talking about with the COVID on the rise, people don't realize that it's we was just talking, and it was actually on TV today about the flu and different things like that.
Yeah, it's like 4 different viruses.
Right. And I'm really concerned, because I know the new administration it doesn't believe in the vaccines, and that's something that they're going to be focusing on, trying to cut out. the vaccines, and I'm just really concerned about the country, in the health
risks
welfare and all of that of in our country, because that's how when COVID first hit, I just think, and I'll say that, and I really believe that if it had received the attention that it should have received, and people didn't think that it was just a host, and I think that and I can't say that because I'm not in that profession, but a lot of people lost their lives because they were not educated on the on COVID, and people downplayed it, and didn't really take it seriously, and a lot of people died. And so I'm just asking people to just take precautions, stay safe. I just don't know whether COVID is going to be here forever, but I know it's still here. And
now
I was diagnosed with COVID coming up to Christmas. Didn't have any symptoms, really. I just woke up that morning. My left side of my face was swollen, and didn't know. I thought I had an allergic reaction to something, and I went to the emergency room, and they tested me, and that's one of the people have different symptoms. That was one of the symptoms, that with your face being swollen, it looked like on that one side was just red, like I had a sunburn or something, and and that basically that's really the only symptom that I had. And so people have different symptoms, and I'm just saying, if you have any have symptoms, just you can Google it and pull it up. You need to get checked, because like I say, even though mine was mild, I know people that recently was diagnosed with COVID that actually was in the hospital.
They're saying the other big factor is the norovirus, which some of those symptoms with the norovirus is vomiting, fevers and stuff like that.
So just take precaution. I've started back wearing my mask. I let my guard down, and I was wearing my mask, but I've started back wearing my mask. It's just.
And with the with the recent change of weather too, we're going from warm to real cold.
And I think with the flu and stuff, that has a lot to do with it. You're in your house, it's warm. You go outside, and in some places you go into, it's cold in there. Especially like I just try to stay away from hospitals if I can, because they keep it cold in there because of germs and different things like that. But you just got to kind of stay away from around people that are actually sick, and they're sick.
Exactly. Well, we've run out of time, and we hope that
thank you all so much for listening. Happy New Year's, everyone, and please stay safe.
Absolutely. See you next week.
You have been listening to the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwenette Westbrooks and Mr. Dumas. Come join us next Monday at 4:00 p.m. on 980 WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertising.